Welcome to the Group Home Riches Podcast. If you have the desire to be your own boss, create your own schedule, and become financially free while at the same time helping people in need, then you've come to the right place. At grouphomeriches.com, we teach people exactly like yourself how to get started in the group home business. And on this podcast, you're going to hear their stories firsthand.
How are you?
I'm good. Let's give it a couple minutes, or Mary might just get a one-on-one or one-on-two coaching session.
Nice.
That would be great as far as I was concerned, because I'm just trying to get started.
Good, perfect. We got a bunch of likes and questions, so let's give it a minute and let people kind of roll in here.
Yes.
How long you been following us for, Mary?
I've been with you guys 3 years and have not done the program.
You broke up
But
a little bit. You haven't done the program?
no, I have not at all. I've been with you 3 years. I talked to Jill just yesterday.
So you've been interested in it, but haven't really made the decision to move forward with much.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What's been holding you back?
Probably just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just me.
What do you do? Do you have like a full-time job or?
No, I'm retired
Okay.
and I'm in ministry. So I'm trying to get even more speaking engagements at this point, because my ministry is about healing and deliverance.
I mean,
And
you work at what we would call a referral source. We
need some healing and deliverance for some of your people.
Well, a lot of churches do, do charities and help in the community and just just a lot of general services for people who are in need of this type of housing often. Um, if your church doesn't do that, I know you probably know a couple people right now that you could call that provide those services.
Well, I'm going to definitely be looking into it, because I did, like I said, I spoke to Jill for a while yesterday. And so she gave me, some pointers to get me started, and so I'm working on that. And I'm in contact with a lot of people that are wealthy in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing is, I'm not going to get an apartment, I'm getting a house. So, um, and I have a couple of people who's already said they would, help me out with OPM.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Connections. We got
Yes.
Eddie P in the house.
Hey, how's it going? Hold on. I'm just out and about here, listening in, as well as I got right now, nothing co-living wise, but a Section 8 inspection. So I'm hanging around a property to see how we can get this thing finished up and ready to keep the cash flowing and other things.
Nice.
Yeah, no worries. When we have like under 10 people, I just we
Oh,
can.
it's 1 o'clock, so hey,
Yeah,
what you expect?
everybody can like kind of chime in, and we don't need to mute ourselves. But if you gotta just listen, that is absolutely no worries.
Cool.
Andy, we did it. I think, yeah, you were on it. We did an interview with Eddie
Yes. Yeah.
when
It's a very long one.
yeah, he was the one that had the he had like the Instagram stories of his properties and stuff like that. And I think we were live. Here we go. So, Mary, this is a good one to check out.
What's this person's name?
Eddie
Eddie?
P. Yeah.
And he's got all those videos on YouTube?
Well, his social media, he has a lot of cool like videos of before and after, like rehab, and he shows them. He doesn't just do co-living. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, Eddie, but yeah, on his social media, he has a lot of before and after pictures of like the real estate, and some of them when he gets them set up for his co-living situations. But
Uh-huh.
this is we did an interview with him for our YouTube channel. So if you're not on our YouTube channel, definitely get in that.
Okay.
I'll send it in the chat.
That's Group Home Riches also.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you in the chat.
Okay.
That's Eddie's interview
Okay.
in the meeting chat. And then just yeah, make sure you subscribe to that channel. We do an interview. It's usually about every other week. We'll put out an interview with some of our successful students. And many of them, like Eddie, are in the school group. The meeting is recorded. Andy, we may need to switch something up. I think everyone's just all right. It's going to be recorded, so we could we could just catch it on the recording. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's fine. We'll still give them a ton of game. Um, we got a couple questions. So Andy, I just kind of like a couple of days ago put this out in the school group.
Okay.
Drop your questions. Anything with the most likes, kind of will cover like as a main topic. I kind of I want to do a little bit of a deep dive on what Eddie said and kind of piggyback off of the call that we had with Virgil yesterday.
Okay. Ooh. All right.
Yeah, so we had an amazing we did
What are we
it's
talking
not
about?
out it's not out yet. Well, Virgil, do you know Virgil from school group, Eddie?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the guy who's always on, right? Is that the one with all the stuff, all the
Uh
properties and things? Guy with the pro
no,
kind of sort of. No, which one? Which one? There's a Virgil. There's another one that's coming to me because he made a topic, right? He had a little topic that he put out.
I think I may know who you're talking about, but Virgil is he's been really active.
Oh yeah.
He he like he's got two properties that are
Uh-huh.
he's in the process of the grand opening.
Ah, okay.
So I wanted to have him on because I could tell he's kind of gone through that process like of being frustrated, like almost quitting, but keep on going. And he you could tell he really went big on the marketing.
Oh
And
yeah.
I
'Cause,
was
yeah,
right.
Virgil Johnson, right? He has like
Yeah.
he going through his like the he got like a scheduled walkthrough or something coming up.
Yeah, I mean he's got like MOUs and he's got, I can't wait to do a follow-up with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got like 5 or 6 properties in the next 6 months. Would you agree with that, Andy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great one for beginners because I think they'll be able to really relate to it. So we were really able to kind of zoom in and like really get nitty-gritty about that process. Normally on the podcast, Andy, that's a quick like 5 minute section, right? Because we want to hear about the
Hmm.
success and everything like that. And we kind of breeze through like the mental stuff that's required to go through it and the challenges and everything like that. So we're really able to get granular with that. So uh I kind of want to I want to cover that for the folks, Andy. Um
Yeah. Why don't you start?
let's do the quick questions first. There was a couple
Okay.
other good questions. I want to take care of those, and then we'll kind of get into that. I want to cover it's another sneak peek. I want to cover this for them.
What is that? Oh, yes.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about this a lot yesterday.
Virgil was dropping it yesterday.
Yeah, and I have a couple examples, and I think everybody that's we got a couple more people on the call, but everybody listening to the recording, I think you guys are going to really relate to the topic today. First, yeah, what Eddie said, the call organizations, right? That's a huge topic. We could talk for like 6 hours on that. We'll keep it to an hour today. Finding landlords is another good one. But if you master this part, like Virgil did, like Eddie, like you did, I think that finding the landlords is going to come a lot easier. Would you agree on that, Andy?
Yes, absolutely.
So we do have a ton of content on this, but this is the majority of people. If you're just getting started, don't even think about this yet. You're just gonna fumble through it, and a lot of you are not ready for a landlord yet. AI. I'm not going to talk about business funding. We've tried to put that together. We've been doing this for years. Andy, have you ever heard of a good resource for business funding for beginners that have no proof of concept or anything like
I
that?
mean, the reality is you just got to get started. You gotta get started and get 2 years of tax returns.
Yeah. So she's
And I'm
not.
not saying you can't get credit if you've got decent credit, but I mean, this business doesn't really require much capital. But you can get a business up and going for $1,500.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, business funding, credit card. If you guys are literally like check to check and no credit or anything like that, then you need to get a partner. Uh, Perfect partner for that would be a landlord. You're not going to get that if you don't do this. Regarding AI, um, I would say, Andy, has AI become kind of a regular tool for you?
Using it all the time,
Yeah. How
like
are you?
nonstop.
How I'm just curious. How are you using it regarding like the real estate business?
Look, I'm using it for everything. I'm using it to basically speed up how quickly I get things done. So, for example, yesterday I'm getting harassed by code compliance. Remember, you guys are always asking questions about code compliance. Well, technically they can't do this. Yeah, these are human beings. They're going to do it anyway. So if you need to respond back to them rather than like spending an hour and a half figuring out exactly how you want to respond back to them, type the scenario into Grok or ChatGPT or whatever and ask them, hey, what would you do? So, I mean, that's what I was using it for yesterday. I used it for an escrow analysis yesterday. I'm using it all the time just to speed up the amount of work I can get done. And by the way, on that note, I know I sound like a broken record here, but all of the companies that you're working for, they're doing the same thing. And their primary goal is to replace human beings with technology. Why? Because technology costs no money. So you've got to get ahead of this trend.
Well, I see that everyone is really quiet when he made that remark. However, that's how I feel about AI. And I understand that AI can do a lot for you, but it's also putting people out of work, which
Yep.
is not good.
It's a double-edged sword. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
it's so terrible.
I was being quiet. Mary, could you hear all of Andy's answers?
Yeah, I could hear everything.
Okay. I need to get Google Fiber. Andy, I was just letting you cook. My internet is not great, but if you guys
I
can
just thought everybody was letting that last remark settle in.
just to recap for me quickly, Andy, you're using it for like quick responses so you don't have to like think everything out. I think you said escrow analysis. Um, Probably just you're probably just tooling around with it to see what you could do
I-
quick.
I'm using it all the time. I mean, for example, used it for escrow analysis yesterday. I've got a code compliance officer that's citing me $500 for having a or not having a light bulb in the canister, which is asinine. But remember, guys, I've told you this a million times. It's not just that the people are broke, the governments are broke as well. The municipalities are broke. And so I'm asking this guy for, stuff, and he's of course probably not telling me the truth. So, we use AI to see how to respond.
I'll do a quick kind of quick example here of how you guys could use it out there listening. Related to the topic, Mary, where are you located?
In New Jersey.
Where in New Jersey?
I'm in South Jersey, Camden County.
Okay.
I use Grok all of the time. Paid for it for the year, man. I'm using it for everything.
Yeah, I bounce back and forth between Grok and ChatGPT. So
Yes.
real quick, I told Grok, hey, I'm a new real estate company, affordable housing. I need to create relationships in Camden County. What are the top organizations that receive funding from the government that I should speak with? And let's see what it does. And I know Eric, Coach Eric, he's in school, he is an absolute master with AI. Um, Trying to get him on a podcast or a webinar or something, but Andy, he's got like all the systems like
Yeah.
automated
We do need to do,
yeah.
yeah, we need to do a do a podcast with him.
So I'm gonna let Grok think about that, and then this was based off of I think it was last month's school call. Angel was on there. Um, so this is a great post and thread to read. I had the same question for the group, So all right, let's see. All right, Grok is still thinking, but Mary, all right, here we go. We're getting something.
Center for Family Services.
Yeah, it should spit out like 10 of them. That's
Oh,
what I,
you can copy them and put them in the chat, right?
yes, I believe so. If
Thank you so
not,
much for doing that.
well, if not, I'm not going to give you the fish. I'm going to teach you how to fish.
I'm learning.
All right. So I'll let Grok think on that. That was a great question, Samantha. Um, Business funding, yeah, unless you got a couple houses rocking and rolling and you're looking to like really scale and buy a lot of real estate, you guys don't need a business funding.
You know, correct.
Um, Andy, what do you use? I know this might not work for everybody, but just your property management software, what do you use?
Appfolio.
Is that one where like you had to have people build it out for you, or is it already pretty
No, no.
plug
I
and
mean,
play?
you do need to plug in the property address, all that stuff. You can use it for group homes. I mean, keep in mind, we're basically at the hotels and stuff like that. They're extended stay hotels because, basically I've kind of graduated, if you will, from operating individual homes with multiple beds to basically selling those things, buying larger buildings. And yeah, you can set it up where you have one house and you could run the thing on a room by room basis or a bed by bed basis using Appfolio. You don't need to have some sort of custom software. You just buy it off the shelf. It works very well.
Cool.
It's awesome.
So this is what Andy uses, but again, not like completely retired, but you kind of transition to more like multifamily and
Yeah, I mean, look, and on that note, everybody's definition of retirement is probably a little bit different.
yeah,
Um, if you can live off of your own assets, off of stuff that you've built, off of your wits, off of, your business, if you're not working 40 hours a week and you're not working 20 hours a week and you're you're basically retired. Now, that being said, eventually you're going to get bored. So what else are you going to do? I mean, you're going to want to work and grow and, tool with the business. So.
you have any desire to just retire and sit on a beach for like the last 20 years of your life?
No, I mean, I mean,
That
just
would be
cirrhosis of the liver. I don't
that
think
would
that's
be
what you,
absolute. Yeah, that would be torture. I would
I
turn
don't
it
think that's what you want to do.
turn
Now,
it
do you want to,
like
do you want to go to Hawaii every once in a while, go down to Mexico or Florida or whatever? Sure, go. Go for a week, go for a month, whatever. But eventually you're gonna be like, all right, I need to get home.
yeah. So, you're, I don't know, semi-retired, I guess you could say, even though you probably work, every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working every day, but I mean, July, I didn't do anything for like a month.
I
So,
think,
I mean,
yeah,
I
I
was
think
working a little
cool.
bit, but
Yeah, that's what I would like to do. Like, you don't have to work if you don't want to. I think
you
that,
don't, but there's always stuff that pops up, right? I mean, no matter what, I mean, you're gonna have fires, you're gonna have insurance issues. There's gonna be things you need to get involved in. And frankly, look, if you had a bunch of money in the bank, if you're not watching it, that money's gonna disappear.
yep.
So no matter what, you're going to have to work. And if you don't work, you're gonna die.
Yeah. So, um, went off on a tangent a little bit, but that was just to kind of explain,
Yeah.
you're using Appfolio, but it's mostly like real estate, multifamily management. Definitely
Hmm.
some, I think you still got a couple of the shared housing rocking and rolling,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's not to like the scale that it was when you made the gold course and stuff like
No, and we've mentioned this before. What happens, guys, especially if you follow kind of the Gold Course methodology, you'll start buying these areas, buying in these like D class areas, C class areas. And if you can spot it and if you can smell it, those C class areas or C minus areas turn into C areas. Then they turn into C plus areas. Then they turn into B minus areas. Okay. So they kind of get nicer. Some people use the term they gentrify, right? So you start getting these neo hipsters that start moving in. It doesn't matter if you're in Nashville or you're in Ohio or whatever. It's just the way it goes, right? So uh, less crime starts happening, so on and so forth. Nicer kind of families start moving in. The minute you have the nicer families move in, the area becomes cleaner, there's less crime. Guess what? The values start going up. You bought the property for 50 grand, next thing you know, it's worth 75 grand, next thing you know, it's worth 100 grand, and it can kind of go up from there, especially if you've got some sort of huge, monetary stimulus program like what we saw back in 2020. And then, of course, if interest rates drop, the prices can go up quite a bit. And the next thing you know, the government is like, oh, we want to get our fair share of this. And they start taxing you to death. So it becomes increasingly more difficult to run those things. And at that point, it's fine. You take it, you sell it, you buy, you just do the same thing over again. But that's really what I recommend doing.
then after like 20 years, you have an empire.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, even if you're like, whenever we put out the Virgil YouTube, you'll hear Virgil say this. All of our successful students say the exact same thing. And I think Brandon's going to get to that chart in a little bit. Um, Rome wasn't built in a day. If you bust your ass, you could probably you can do a lot more than 5 or 6 of these things in a year. But generally speaking, the most important thing is you cannot give up. You can't be like, oh, I've got one of these things up and going and I can't do any more. You don't want to do that. You need to keep your head down, stay the course, understand the business, understand the ins and outs of it, understand how you're helping people, why you're helping people. And not only that, but you got to understand how to collect from them and pay your bills on time and everything else. It is actually a very, very, very simple business to run and operate, which is why so many people want to get into it. But you got to stay the course.
You guys remember that because we're gonna circle back to that point. Uh, do not quit, staying the course. You guys remember that? Um, so Andy uses Appfolio. Group Home Rich's very own Coach Terrence put this together. Uh, Andy, I think I've mentioned this to you. Do you remember?
Yeah, you did. Mhm.
Yeah. So This is rocking and rolling. He's taking on his first couple clients. We will probably do like a webinar about this or something, Andy. But yeah, this was designed by a group home operator for a group home operator, and just so happens to be part of the Group Home Riches family. So I will definitely check this out. I'll drop that in there. And those those are the questions for the most part. We'll come back to the finding landlords a little bit, but I want to look, this is the topic. This is really what we did a deep dive yesterday on the podcast interview, Andy. So
Yeah,
I want to get into that. We talked about this. We didn't,
dude.
we,
Unbelievable. Virgil is just spot on with this stuff. Spot
yeah,
on with it.
this was something that I was honestly asking questions and trying to get this concept out, and I didn't know there was a what do we call this? A model that
Yeah,
explains it. It's
like
the
a scientific model.
Yeah. So this is something that I see in a lot of people, a lot of clients, group home business, and it's not just the group home business. It's everything. Think about real estate. Like how many people have you networked with, Andy, and like maybe a deal went bad and they just retire and
They
go,
give up.
yeah, right. So you guys can all relate to this. It's a super simple concept, but it's powerful. I think it's powerful when you kind of label things and then you could be like, oh, this is happening. So, um, phase one, uninformed optimism. Do you want to give an example of that, Andy, that's related to the group home business?
Man, think about almost life, right?
Yeah.
Uninformed optimism. How about the first time you have alcohol? I mean, it's just popping into my head, right? Oh yeah, oh my God, I feel great. I could drink 10 of these things, right? Oh, I'm not getting drunk on this stuff. Like, so that could be an example of uninformed optimism. Um, somebody teaching you or you're learning about the stock market. Oh my God, I see these guys making all this money. I can go buy, this stock and make a fortune, right? That's uninformed optimism. Um, a business, oh my gosh, I'm going to get into this business. Think about all these multi-level marketing businesses. Now, one thing you're going to notice about Brandon and about me is that we're very, very, very pragmatic. We don't try to sell people, this get rich quick scheme because it's not one, right? This isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's a get rich for sure scheme. And it's not a scheme, it's a business, right? Our job is to show you how to help a lot of people and in the process make yourself a lot of money, right? It's a win-win, but it requires work. You can go back to our oldest ones, proof of work, proof of work, proof of work. You have to prove that you've worked. If you don't prove that you worked, like you're not going to make any money. So obviously there are a lot of people that come into this space and they do have a little bit of uninformed optimism. And frankly, that's kind of good, right? They're excited about the opportunity. They see somebody that's been doing it. They've got a cousin or a friend or a nephew or whatever that's been doing it for 20 years and they're the pillar of their community. They make a lot of money. They help a lot of people. They're kind of famous in their own little city. So that's good. They're excited about it. But in a lot of respects, it's uninformed because they don't realize all the work that went into getting it up and going. So those would be my primary examples of uninformed optimism.
Yeah. I remember this like in real estate when I first learned about wholesaling, right? Like, oh, what? I could just drive around and find a property and call the owner and make, $15,000. That's, what you might, if you're just watching like a first webinar or first video, that's what you think, right? And I'm not mad at the people I listen to. Like you need to get pumped up. To Andy's point, you'll see a lot of this stuff on our YouTube channel is very pragmatic. We'll take little clips from the interview and boil it down, give you, rental hacks, right? Or legal stuff, right? But uninformed optimism would be somebody who's scrolling through and they see, what? You can make $1 million in 1 year with group homes? Yeah, you could. Possibly. It's possible. It's not probable, right? But that's the example of phase one, uninformed optimism. You're pumped up about it. Um, you're not thinking of the tangible things. You're not thinking of the process. You're not thinking of the logistics. You're not thinking of those days when you're just not fired up, right? Like you're not always gonna have that spark of motivation, right? So that's phase one. Phase two, I guess, is called informed pessimism.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be uh
Yes. This is and keep in mind, guys, we try to inform you of the good, the bad, and the ugly with this business, right? I mean, go back and listen to all of our YouTubes. Again, the big difference between Brandon and me and all these other maybe gurus out there that are trying to, teach you how to flip real estate or run Airbnbs or whatever, they never tell you the bad aspects of the business. We are very transparent. We tell you exactly what's going to happen, especially if you don't follow the gold course. You're going to get in there, you're going to move the wrong type of people into the property. Those people are going to start drinking, start doing drugs because you're not managing them. And that's when informed pessimism is going to hit. So, what we try to do is we try to get in front of that and inform you early of the negative aspects of this business that can happen if you don't follow kind of our screening guidelines, if you will. But assuming that you don't fully follow the goal course, you're not working with a one-on-one coach or whatever. Informed pessimism will set in when you move somebody into the property, they destroy the inside of their room, and then they start refusing to leave. You're like, uh-oh, something's happening here. That's when you are now informed because okay, this isn't necessarily going to be a cakewalk. And you also begin becoming pessimistic. You're like, dude, this is not going to work for me. So that's informed pessimism.
yes. So to the overall kind of macro idea, this is one. I just pulled up an example from the YouTube channel. Like, oh, what? Like the city might harass me? Yeah, they might.
Yes.
Um, so just going through the face here, you might just see one of our ads and be like, oh, what? The government will pay me to provide affordable housing? Be like, sick. Where do I apply? Informed pessimism. Oh, what? I actually have to do work. Yeah, yeah. You have to do a lot of work. You have to do a lot of work. I want to let's kind of boil it down to the marketing aspect because that's the first step. That's the first you're gonna go through this process along every part of this business, year by year, right? You'll go through it on the real estate side, the management side, the scaling side. Many of you are just in that beginning stage, and it's just the marketing, the networking. We recommend you do the networking and the marketing first. This is the perfect example of what do we call it? Informed pessimism. This literally breaks down the exact process in the beginning. This is from the Gold Course, uh, where we show you like the back and forth, all of the back and forth, the full conversation needed to just get one check for um, one licensee, or where you guys may think of them as tenants. Um, so that might be a little bit discouraging when you see how much work needs to go through this. So, um, who was it? Mary
Yes,
in New Jersey, right? So
yes.
this is so this is the process. I did it real quickly. Uh, a lot of people don't understand how big they need to go with their marketing. For our done with you clients, something like Camden County, we would probably have close to 1,000 contacts on our list that we would be marketing to. This is an example of 10 of them. So this is just the first process, is to find the organizations, right? But again, people might get discouraged, like, oh, wait, I can't just call this place, or I can't just go online and apply and then they send me people to fill up the property. No. You may get discouraged, but you actually have to contact these people. You have to contact them a lot, and you have to build a relationship with them. So that could be discouraging. It is for a lot of people. If you go through the school group, you'll see that a lot of people get frustrated with that. They may make, 5 to 10 phone calls. They may not hear back, and then they'll get into that next part of the cycle, which is what we want to get you guys just be aware of it, and don't get trapped by it. So this might not be clean, Mary. Can't send it. Let me see if I can send it in school. Mary, I'm just gonna tag both of these, okay?
Okay.
I'm not sure which one's which.
Yeah, which one is which? I didn't know there were two.
There we go. So example of what we mean by building your list.
Thank you very much for that.
Hey, that was quick. I'm telling you. We have
Yeah.
a team of virtual assistants. They do this. That's just one part of the process, and they do that all day, every day. So,
So I can go in there and copy that?
yeah, I put it in school for you. You would need to like go and you're gonna want to find their contact information, check out their
Yeah.
website.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And that was on grok.com.
Yeah, Grok, or if in the gold course, this is what we do.
Step by step.
Yeah, if you go to the beginner's guide,
Okay.
there's a bunch of ways to kind of build your list and do the research and basically find where the money's at. So
Okay.
back to the main point, a lot of people get trapped here. And you'll see right there, most people quit here. So a lot of people, I'm gonna pull up this post that sparked the whole conversation.
I mean, Virgil's he's got the game figured out.
And I mean, he learned these lessons. He didn't, luckily he didn't learn it with just the group home business. He's gone through a lot of stuff to kind of learn these life lessons and overall principles. So he was able to, kind of recognize what he was going through. So he didn't quit. Most people quit. So yeah, it's not as so Mary, not to burst your bubble, but uninformed optimism. I could just go to Grok and I can find these organizations, and they're gonna send me people, maybe. But once you start contacting them, you'll go through this. And Mary and everyone else listening, we want you to avoid this valley of despair.
Let me make a quick comment as well, Brandon.
Yes.
Go back to that chart. So as much, guys, everybody look at it pretty closely and intently. As much as we're laughing about the very beginning in the uninformed optimism. That is kind of a necessary stage and a necessary component because, to be honest with you guys, we've got tens of thousands of customers that are, I call them customers, clients, whatever, people that are out there running and operating group homes, right? Using the Gold Course methodology. But guess what? We have literally hundreds of thousands of people that have signed up for all of our free, content. Hundreds of thousands. Okay. So we only have a small percentage of people that actually get started, maybe like 10 or 15% that get started. And so I would actually make the statement, Brandon, I'd like your opinion, that in some respects, you need that uninformed optimism at the beginning because that is what motivates you to get started. You still need to get started. It is like the single most important thing you can do. You have to jump, you have to get started. So the motivation will get you started. The discipline, as Virgil was talking about yesterday, that's what's going to keep you going. And with us working with you, like Brandon said, our hope is that you don't ever get down into that valley of despair. But I believe that the single most important thing to do is to get started.
I think the valley of despair, or at least, I don't necessarily like the wording of it, but you're going to go through this little process in everything. I think,
This is Betsy, and I just wanted to tell you I'm just coming out of the valley of despair.
yeah. Well, Betsy, it's because you've been on the school groups, you've been interacting with us. We've kind of probably snapped you out of it a couple times, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I get to points where I just get stuck.
Well,
And
you want to move into, you might be in this stage, Betsy. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you may be optimistic now that you got out of this, but it's informed optimism.
I had like a week in the valley of despair where I laid on my couch and did nothing but complain and eat ice cream and binge watch TV. But then I
Oh,
got
God.
past it.
Yeah.
So, and during that time, I joined West Par, which is the Pennsylvania Association of Recovery Residences,
Mm-hmm.
because the city of Pittsburgh is blocking me. They will not give me an occupancy permit. They keep coming up with all these crazy things. So I just fired off the letter from the Gold Course. So we'll see what happens with that.
That was the lead letter.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep. And I sent one registered mail return receipt requested. Otherwise, they never contact you. Initially it took them a month to contact me and they said, "Oh, you went to spam file." I said, "Well, what about the 50 phone calls?" No response. So, so I sent that off. I joined Westpar. They just accepted my application. They're going to come and inspect my house, which is ready. And then I also got my first resident who, after a month, I had to kick him out. He just would not behave. So he
Okay.
had to go.
It's okay. This is how we learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm still moving forward, maybe limping a little. But yeah, I have some renewed
The
energy
main
and
the
I'm
main
looking.
thing is that once you go through this a couple of times, then you'll recognize it. That's why me and Andy are pumped up about this because we didn't know what this was called, but we've gone through it a million times.
Oh, yeah,
Like we'll
with
we'll hit.
everything.
I don't like the term valley of despair, but yeah, Andy, me and you hit
It's
phase.
accurate.
I
Yeah,
mean,
well, we hit
we have
phase
our own
three.
we have our own terminology for this. This is just like scientific terminology, but I have been through this multiple times, multiple times. And typically you want to give up right there in phase two. That's where you want to
Yeah,
give up. Phase two, phase three. And then, but if you push forward, like the results are incredible. But Most of the time, most people are going to give up. Now, interestingly enough, I'm going to throw something else out at you guys. I have on my computer a list of all of the kind of businesses, if you will, that I'm involved in. And I was looking at one yesterday at this list, and there was probably like 8 or 9 of them on there. They're all dead businesses, businesses that didn't go anywhere. They all died. And as I was thinking about it, the reason I was looking at it was a combination of having this conversation with Virgil, which we had yesterday, but then number two, my right hand man, who Brandon knows, that kind of manages everything, he is he's dealing with a lot of shit right now, right? And he's in the valley of despair. He's going to push through. But I texted this graph to him, this chart to him, and he wrote me back and said, "I'm in the valley of despair." And I was going to send him something from this business that I had back in 2012 where I was in the valley of despair. And I'm like, what the hell do I do? How do I get through this? And I had already planned out how I was potentially going to sell the business. I had all my plan B, plan C, plan D's figured out. I pushed through it and it turned out to be really good. But as I'm looking at that and I'm looking at all the failed businesses, the one thing that I can tell you guys, I realized it was a common denominator on all those failed businesses. I did not have enough money invested in them. Because I didn't have enough money invested in them, I didn't have enough time invested in them. And if you don't invest money and time, chances are the business you are not proving that you're working for it, and the business 9 times out of 10 will die. You'll just give up on it. And I gave up on those businesses. So I just want to throw that out there. You have to invest money and you have to invest time and energy. And if you don't, realistically, you're probably going to give up once you hit that phase 3.
Well, luckily this business doesn't take a lot to get started.
No.
And we have a ton of examples like that. Um, I used to be a quick story. I used to be in a business that it was like the music industry. And I was speaking to someone who was on the business side, just an absolute legend. And she told me, hey, like in order to get started, you need to have, $500,000 to even make a dent. And we had invested maybe 15 to $20,000. So guess what we did with that 15 to $20,000, Andy?
Tell me.
We burned it.
Mm-hmm.
When it takes $500,000 to accomplish something, and someone who's extremely successful is telling you that, if you put in $50,000, you waste 50,000.
Yeah.
So luckily, luckily you're not going to run into that with the group home side of things, but there are a lot of businesses like that. Um, maybe say maybe like the licensed facilities, for example. You're probably going to have a lot of like reserves on hand to go through the licensing process. Maybe it takes 6 months. Your mortgage is $2,000. If you don't have those reserves, you're going to be out of business. So there's another kind of lesson for you guys that luckily you don't have to deal with for this. But back to like the valley of despair, phase 3, the way to go through it is one, Betsy, thank you for sharing that. Uh, you know, that's why I say, hey, I don't really like the valley of despair. I maybe call it phase 3, or what I call this is just, hey, this is the test. This is the big guy testing you. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go eat ice cream for a week and quit? Or are you just gonna get back to it? This says quit and maybe repeat phases 1 through 3. Maybe you got to rewind, go back through it. Maybe you missed something, or do you just push through to success? And Andy, I think you're in the same kind of spot as me. Once we hit like phase 3, we just kind of laugh it off and be like, "Well, this is This is what always happens. Whatever.
It's what always happens. Now the cool thing is that once you get going, let's say you start, if you follow, everybody's got a little bit of a different path, but let's say you follow my path, you get your group home set up, group homes start running, you get one group home set up, you go through that valley of despair, you make it through to the other side, you get another one. What happens is little by little, that phase three starts kind of like lifting up on its own. It just organically lifts up because you're so used to it. So it flattens out. So then what happens is the uninformed optimism that flattens out. You're like optimistic because you're like, hey, I already have one group home. This thing's making $2,500 a month, and there's zero reason why this other one won't make $2,500 a month, right? So again, cookie cutter. That's what you're trying to do. Then you go through phase two. It's like informed pessimism. You're like, well, as long as I follow the gold course methodology, put the right type of people into my properties, set everything up on auto draft, there's not much that's going to come to surprise me. So that flattens out. Everything just starts flattening out. Now, the fulfillment phase, that goes up. That's going to keep going up and up and up because remember, one group home equals $2,500, two group homes equals 5,000, three equals 7,500, and so on and so forth. And by the time you're making 10,000 bucks a month, like life has gotten really, really, really good for the vast majority of people. And so basically it flattens out and then it really skyrockets at the end.
I like that. So once you've gone through this a couple times and like you get used to it, it's the valley of despair is not that deep. It becomes more like maybe flat, I think is how you explained it.
Yeah. That's my opinion. I mean,
No, I agree. 100%. I guess that's what I was trying to explain why I don't really like to call it the valley of despair because
You
sorry.
should have
Again,
seen me
Betsy,
last week.
I've been there before, but I don't just like go to the couch and eat ice cream for a week, even though
right.
part of me does. I recognize what the process is. I'm like, all right, this is just the test. Don't get too pissed off. Don't throw your computer out of the window. Don't just go through it and either, keep moving forward, maybe take a break for an hour or two, come back to it. Uh, the key here, I think, is not to get into despair and definitely don't do what most people do, which is quit. Most people, and this is the post that kind of sparked this conversation. Uh, and again, me and Andy are just kind of marinating on this because we just recorded with Virgil yesterday, but he really broke this down. This was my favorite post I've seen in a long time. No one was liking it, no one was commenting, but he explains this perfectly. So, we do want to talk about, you know, creating relationships with organizations, finding them, marketing to them. That's a quick way to say it, but this is a really good snapshot of what you guys are most likely going to go through with whether it's marketing or another phase of the business. Um, so Virgil was just doing the runaround, not hearing back, or he would get meetings with people and then for some reason like they just didn't get back to him. It could be budgetary stuff. They could be working on other things. Who knows? I don't know the exact rhyme or reason. We've talked about this, Andy. Even though the people are extremely nice and things like that, sometimes they just feel like, they're not motivated to do what their nonprofit says, for lack of better terms, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what Virgil was going through. He was getting discouraged. Um, he regrouped. He did take a week off.
I bet he ate ice cream.
He probably ate some ice cream, Betsy.
It's my coping mechanism. What can I say?
I feel that. Ben and Jerry's.
Oh, yeah. American Dream, which
There we go.
also ties into what I was doing. It was funny because while I was in the valley of despair and going from burning the house down to selling things, I'm going to give them away. I finally kind of realized I was going to succeed because last week I still made a flyer. And if I was going to burn the house down, I wouldn't need those. So that was an indicator to me that I was working towards the right direction, and just things like that. I got my West Par application done. And I even, I was worried I was bugging this guy, and I thought it's his job. I'm going to bug him. And the last phone call paid off. The guy had been trying to get a hold of didn't hate me. He was on vacation.
That's exactly, exactly. So Virgil, yeah, so he took his week off, maybe he ate some ice cream, but he did
Probably.
realize that that's when the breakthrough happens, is going through that, right? And
Yep.
it's literally that's the exact model, right? You go through it, and then that's when you break through. You go into informed optimism, success, and fulfillment. That's the scientific method, and this is a perfect, personal story of going through that. So he went back to it. He likes the in-person marketing. He went to a ton of places, got his momentum back, and got commitments from 8 organizations. Uh,
That's great.
this was, I think he posted about a month ago. He now is in the process of opening 2 properties. So he's got commitments to have both of them filled. And it was just a perfect kind of story that really dials in that process that you're all gonna go through
Sure. You
every
know,
every step of the way. But it's especially, you know what, especially marketing. Andy, to like you said, how this kind of flattens when you go through the process.
Yeah, you go through it a couple of times, it just starts flattening out.
But marketing is the first one they're going to go through. So it's probably they're probably super optimistic.
Yep,
They
yep,
go
yep, yep, yep,
way
yep, yep.
pessimistic. And then that first valley of despair probably hits the hardest.
Brandon, I know this is a school conversation, but since we're recording it, like we're talking about some really important stuff that, frankly, I almost think we should get out on YouTube. I know
Yeah.
we tell all the
Hey,
school people that we
we,
won't, but like, guys, this is really valuable info because we're not just talking about how the group home business works, we're talking about the emotions, human psychology that comes with running and operating a business. It's critical. But yeah, Brandon, going to your marketing point, I could tell you a million stories. You spend hours crafting this amazing, letter campaign or whatever it is. You're like, I'm gonna get all these phone calls. I'm gonna get, people calling me left and right, and then it's like crickets. You get nothing.
yeah, and here's I just noticed this part at the end, Andy. Sometimes when you hit this, sometimes you don't always need to push through. Sometimes you need to kind of go back through the process, and
Wow, that's such a
you
good
might
point.
be doing
And
something wrong. You
and
might be
and
sending a ton of emails and your copy sucks.
You got it. Or, frankly, think about Virgil, right? It's like he's talking about how he was a football coach. He played basketball. Like there are life lessons along the way. Let me give you guys something to go watch. Brandon, have you ever watched the Steve Jobs commencement speech at Stanford?
Yes.
Okay, all of you guys that are on this right now, go watch that when we get off the phone or get off the Zoom call. Super important. But Steve Jobs talks about how when he was in college, he took this like calligraphy course. He was like, "Oh, this is cool. It is what it is." Didn't think anything about it. But like 20 years later, he's like, "I'm gonna put calligraphy on these Macs." And so it's super, super, super important to realize that what you're going through right now, as Virgil said yesterday, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, right? So you might have to go back using that red arrow to the left and start over, start from ground zero again. You also might find that you go back and you don't start from ground zero, you start a different business. You might have already gone down this path multiple times, given up 3, 4, 5 times. Now that you know this and you understand human psychology, you're like, I'm not giving up, right? I'm going to push through. So, yeah, I think this is an awesome conversation.
Yeah. If you guys look, we got under 10 people on the live. Everyone's waiting for the recording. So I'll let you guys vote. Is this cool? Is it cool if we put this one on YouTube? Drop a yes or no in the chat.
I think so.
I think they'll be cool with it, Indy. Hey,
I'd be fine with it.
it'll help to get more people into the group, right? More people helping each other, the better. So drop a yes or no in the chat. But yeah, I agree. This is you know, it's we're not really diving into the logistics of marketing, but we do that all the time. So, and we have a ton of content on that. So, Mary, thanks for joining us again. Perfect. You're in the very beginning stages. This is exactly what you needed. There's a ton of people out there listening or watching the recording that need the exact same thing.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. We'll open it up to questions here in a sec, but go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to know, how is this business to have a home for seniors?
Andy.
You said, how is this a business? Say that again about seniors running group homes.
How is this business good for seniors?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, what you're going to notice is that in this business, you're going to first and foremost, you're going to cast a wide net, right? Who needs housing? And little by little, all of these partner organizations are going to come to you, and they're going to come to you with kids that are aging out of foster care, 18, 20, 21 years old, 22 years old. You're going to have women same age. Then you're going to have 30-year-olds. Then you're going to have 40-year-olds. Then you're going to have people that are in their 50s or 60s, maybe even older. Now, what you don't want to do, I definitely do not recommend taking in like 75-year-olds or whatever, just because maybe they're not ambulatory, they can't really get along, can't get around, so on and so forth. But yeah, elderly, absolutely. Now, what I don't do, I don't personally do this, I don't mix the elderly with the young. I try to have specific homes for specific people, right? So I've got young male homes, a lot of testosterone. These guys are a little bit wild. There might be some alcohol involved every once in a while. You got to be a little bit tougher with them. Then you're going to have your middle-aged folks. Then you're going to have your elderly folks. Males in one house, females in another house. I understand that some people mix and make them co-ed homes. I do not advocate that. I don't do that, although I know some people do. But yeah, elderly, absolutely. I think it's a hell of a niche.
Okay, thank you.
That was
Overall, Mary, what we recommend people in the beginning phase is to go big, go wide, start networking in your area, start talking to people, and you'll find where the demand is. So again, back to Virgil. Again, perfect example of this. So that's what he did in the beginning, and what he found, like what his style was, who he started to kind of connect with, and it just ended up matching his vision and personality, was aged out foster care. So he had been kind of a motivational speaker before. He was always volunteering in like middle schools and high schools and things like that. He's a massive guy. We found out on the call. I think he said he was like 6'9", like
Yeah.
280 or something like that. So, uh, the people that he was talking to, Andy, retired athlete. So the people that he was speaking with at the aged out foster care organizations absolutely loved him. Like the young guys coming out of there were going to respect him, they thought, and he could motivate them. And they actually invited him to start like speaking at, conferences and meetings and things like that. So he would have never found that if he wasn't, speaking with everybody. Right. So, um, that's what we have seen work for the majority of people is casting that wide net. That's where you will find the programs, the organizations, and the demographics that are in need in your area, and kind of you'll see like who you gel with overall.
Okay.
It
So,
seems like in Pittsburgh, it almost has to be a sober living house to be able to be in these neighborhoods because then you're covered by the ADA. Do you find that other places or?
well, I mean, almost every demographic is going to be covered by some type of federal like law or guideline, or you know, it's not just sober living, senior housing. Um, what else? Like pretty much everybody that's in need of the hey, here we go, Andy.
Yeah,
Um, the percentage of people that have lived in your shared housing that have had some type of mental issue.
all of them. I
Uh,
mean, guys,
yeah.
let me take this back one step.
I
How,
know
how
that's
many,
going to
how
go
many,
somewhere.
how many people right now? What percentage of people in like I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of units that are like apartments and stuff like that. What percent of those people have got mental health issues?
It's about 25%.
Oh, I'd say probably 100%. I mean, do I have my own mental health issues? Yeah, I probably do, right? I mean, I'm drinking coffee every morning. I mean, why do I need that? Like, I mean, we've all got our own issues, so it's just a matter of like what spectrum you're on. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, going back to actual like quote unquote diagnosed mental health related issues. Tough to say. I would say in the group homes, probably 50% of them.
I would say many times that is what leads them to need a group home, you know,
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. So, Betsy, um, ch check in with me after you hear back from that legal letter. It sounds like you're just getting like harassed, to be honest.
Actually, that's what West Par thought too. And they said they don't know why, but, because I mean, the guy has 9 houses in the city of Pittsburgh, and he said that, they also told me after they said that I couldn't get an occupancy permit unless I changed my um, request to commercial. And of course, I don't have to do that. And then when I sent everything that I knew back to them in the form of just an email, they said no. In fact, we re-reviewed your case and we now think that you need to have overhead sprinklers.
Oh, of course.
No, no, no. I mean, they're playing games with you. I mean, as my good friend says, he always tells me that he goes, if you follow the rules, you will lose.
Yeah.
Like, you guys really got to think about this. I mean, do you need a license to go house students? Hey, there's 4 kids that want to live in this house. Do you have to get a license for that? You don't.
Betsy,
Okay.
do you need if you wanted to do student housing or just do like a room share on Craigslist and college kids live there, would Pittsburgh require you to have sprinklers?
No. And that's why I don't understand why I'm getting this runaround. They're just very difficult to talk to. Nobody
Correct.
returns calls, nobody returns emails.
Well, hold on. So you don't have to do it for college kids, but because you want to house maybe seniors or maybe people trying to get sober, but they require you to do sprinklers because you're housing that type of people, what is the legal term for that?
Discrimination.
Bingo. So, yeah, who knows rhyme or reason? Hey, why do people, sell drugs and rob people and kill people?
Yeah.
No rhyme or reason. People break the law. Sometimes the government breaks the law. Sometimes the local jurisdictions break the law. That's again extreme examples, but it just so you guys can understand these concepts. So this is a this was a great post. This is pinned. So again, this guy was going through it. It wasn't marketing, but he was going through it. He had his first property, rocking and rolling, right? He uh got into the valley of despair. He was really discouraged when he came to us with this because it was his first property. He'd finally gone through all the challenges, and then he's kind of had a woe is me attitude about this scary letter that he got from his zoning department. Okay.
Yep. They're gonna do that.
Like,
Remember, God is testing you. How bad do you want it? Like that's my version of the valley of despair.
yeah,
My version of the valley of despair is how bad do you want it?
that's what I always called it, that like the testing phase. You're gonna get tested.
Yeah, you're being tested by the universe.
I
So
must have said 100 times last week, I don't want this. But then at the same time as sitting there doing something to get the pamphlet done. Well, why am I doing that then? It was just, I went through all those
Remember, I mean,
emotions.
number
yeah,
one, the best way to get what you want is to deserve it. The best way to get what you want is to deserve it. You got to deserve it. If you're going to deserve it, you got to work for it. You got to prove that you're working for it. But when you start doing quote unquote applications and all this stuff, this is nonsense. It's not, you don't need to do that. You don't need to fill out an application to allow somebody to live in your house.
it is nonsense.
I have a
So
question.
look at this real quick. Who hold the question? Who was that?
NP.
Eddie, wait for a sec. So Betsy, this guy was going through the same thing. It's
Yep,
gonna take 3 months to go through this application. You need
yep.
to I'm not even gonna read all this. It's just
And I
legal
see they
mumbo
talked to
jumbo.
me about rezoning because it's a commercial, building. And I
Yeah,
said,
that's
no.
how it starts. You're getting similar emails and info
Yep,
and blah blah blah. And then yeah, if this guy had gone through with it, they'd come back 3 months later and be like, "Oh yeah, you need to get a sprinkler system. It needs a new roof and blah blah blah." And then they probably get kickbacks for doing all
right.
that crap as well. All right, so
Well, I sent the
well,
email letter to every name I could find at the
yes,
Pittsburgh Department of Licensing and the mayor. So, and then I
perfect.
sent the letter, return receipt requested, just to the head of the department, because if he wants to be reasonable, I will be too. But if he doesn't, I'm going to send that to the mayor. So we'll see where we go.
Yes, follow up with us. And then look, this is what typically happens, okay? So our guy who going through the exact thing, Betsy, sent that letter. This is look, after sending that scary letter to them, look what he received after he sent our legal letter from the Gold Course. Thank you for your patience. After speaking with zoning and our development department, they stated that your current use of the property is legal. We apologize for the inconvenience. We appreciate your willingness to assist us.
Well, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that I get that kind of response.
Well, look, you might not. I'm telling you what happens the majority of the time. You
I'm
may
going to,
you may have to go through this even more with the legal process. But here's what happens if you just don't quit. And again, you have to choose your battles, right? But this is Jeanette. So went through the same process. Uh Unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to see it, the people they were working with did not understand the law or the consequences. They didn't send this letter back. They continued with the discrimination. Jeanette did not quit there. She continued. She knew her rights. Uh, and then she went through the process. and the city or local zoning, I forget the exact, department or whatever. But anyways, Jeanette won and she was awarded $30,000 for being discriminated against.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I thought if this doesn't work, maybe I should just talk to the news, walk them down Frankstown Avenue, see all
I
the
love
people
that.
laying on the street or
Yes.
bent over because they can't stand up because they're on drugs,
I
and then
love
tell
that.
me it's not needed.
Andy, we've talked about that. We've said, look, if this really happened to us, we'd be all over the news. We'd be, we'd be creating a PR nightmare for the city.
Yeah.
But back to the kind of the point here, a lot of people, if they don't have the gold course or they don't work with us, or even if they do and they kind of have that woe is me attitude, how many people, Andy, would have gone through the valley of despair at this point and quit?
Dude, most people, what you're going to find, most people will give up. It's just the way it works.
I'll be honest, if I like didn't know the laws and didn't know about our content and the gold course, and I thought I was, inventing the wheel here and had some shared housing, and then I got a scary letter from the government and didn't know my rights, I maybe had packed it up. Hey, you know what? Maybe I'll just rent the house out or do Airbnb because I'm not going to do all this crap, right?
All options for me last week in my craziness.
What's that?
I said those were all options I considered in my craziness last week.
Yeah, and hey, look, I'm not saying this is you, but maybe the business isn't for you. But back to Andy's point, right? You don't quit in this phase. At least go through it. Uh,
The
put
other,
your
Brandon,
all
I'm gonna
into
interrupt
it.
real quick.
Yeah.
The other reason you guys can't quit is because all you have to do is just call me, call Brandon, call Jade, call Terrence. Go listen to all these YouTubes. This is a very, very, very viable business that has been run since the beginning of time. Like it's that simple. We're not talking about some like venture backed company where maybe it's going to generate revenue in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Like, no, 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 no. This is a fundamental problem that needs to be solved, right? People need affordable housing. Like this business makes money. Okay. It's just about you being able to figure out how to run and operate this business. And that's why we have the gold course and that's why we have one-on-one coaching. But there are literally tens of thousands of people doing this throughout the United States. You are not recreating the wheel. This is why you cannot give up. There's zero reason to give up in the valley of despair because you got me. I've been doing this for 25 years. You got Brandon. You got all of our coaches. You've got all these people in the school group that are doing it. This is a business that makes money. And not only does it make money, it makes money at a very, very, very high profit margin. So you can't give up. There's no reason to give up. No reason to give up.
I would
Question,
say,
question.
yeah, go for it.
We don't have to be a nonprofit, do we?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
funny because someone even hit me last week with, "You don't care about this, you just want to make money." And then I felt bad, like, oh, I should do this for free. And I'm thinking, what in God,
Here's what you say to people like that. Hey,
Listen,
we're gonna have our beds for charity, and I donate money for charity. But if you think that somebody should be doing this business for free, what's your address? I'll send you beds.
that's
Because
a
I
good
wouldn't
that
even
comeback.
that is
I wouldn't even
bullshit.
think about it.
Well, don't let people like
Yeah.
infect negative ideas into you. You need to protect your energy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Really.
you need to believe in what you're doing. Me and Andy believe in this stuff. That's why we'd be quick with it. And I would make that person, I would ruin their day if someone would say that to me on a call with one of our coaching clients.
And guys, frankly, one of the reasons why we believe in it is because I mean, I do this every day. This is what I do for money. This is how I make money. So I'm living proof that it works. I'm living proof that anybody out there can do it. You don't need to have 180 IQ. You don't need to have a bunch of money. Like, you don't need any of that stuff. You do not need a bunch of resources. You do need to be pretty resourceful. You do need to be willing to work hard. But if you're willing to work hard and you're pretty resourceful, you can create a really, really, really nice lifestyle for yourself, helping people out.
Andy, I want to piggyback on what you said about not giving up. I think that it because same thing. I've had a bunch of business ideas. I've had failed businesses and things like that. Um, if
Yeah,
you
can I
quit,
let me actually
if
go keep talking, but I'm going to go to that little section on my computer and open it up. These are basically all of my failed businesses. Because I mean, yeah, I got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of them that are in here.
I think that like if you quit in the valley of despair, you're not, that's going to be something that you regret. So, like if Virgil had quit at this point, I think it'd be something that he would have regretted. Bare minimum, you don't ever want to be this person. Like if you are watching us and listening to us and you can never relate to kind of coming out of that period of the valley of despair and moving towards success and fulfillment, I want you to feel this and I want to hurt your feelings a little bit. That means you've always quit when the universe tested you.
Yep.
So if you can't relate to this process, if you can't relate to this success and fulfillment process after going through the valley of despair process, that means you've always quit.
Oh,
Andy, did you have something?
I echo your thoughts, dude. I mean, if you've never, you've always quit. That's really what it boils down to. And so, one of the things that I try to do when I screen people is I, I try, when I say screen people, I'm screening people to kind of work with me, for me, whatever. Um, I'm trying to figure out what kind of person they are. And one thing that I like, and Brandon, you and I were going to probably talk about this yesterday with Virgil, but we didn't. Um, but one of the things that I was going to bring up was, like, for example, when I ran the ad to find you, like, what did I ask for? I'm not looking, I'm looking for a certain type of individual, right? Now, one interesting thing with Virgil is, like, he's an athlete. He used to play sports. So if you played sports, like, guaranteed you've already been through that valley of despair. Maybe not from a work standpoint, but from a physical work standpoint, you have. And if you continue playing sports, you came out the other side. Whether were just a high school athlete, or you don't necessarily even need to make it a D1. But so I think that's super duper duper important. And so if you haven't made it through the other side, just listen to what Brandon just said. I mean, try to become the person that you want to be.
Yeah. So on that note, let me do a quick recap, and then we'll do maybe 5 to 10 minutes for any other questions. Guys, if you got other questions, drop them in the chat, please. Um, let's rewind a little bit. We wanted to talk to we kind of wanted to do this. This is a great topic that could help many, like Eddie said, calling organizations, but there's so much more that goes into that. So we kind of went through kind of like the mental stuff that you're going to go through. There's a ton of challenges. There's a lot of logistics. There's a lot of technical stuff that you're going to going to need to learn. Um, Rather than go through that technical stuff, since we have so much content on it, um, this is something new. So, um, as far as the technical stuff, so Mary showed you just a quick example of like what we mean by referral sources. Did that quickly on Grok. Ton of content in the beginner section showing you how to do that, building your list. So it's not just about, calling one shelter or something like that. This this is a great breakdown of literally the step-by-step guide. If you guys could go through this section, follow it, do exactly what we say, and continue to do it, continue going through this process. You may need to regroup, you may need to come back, you may need to get out of the valley of despair if you have a meeting and it doesn't go great or something like that. If you can combine this cycle with this, I can almost guarantee that you'll either be successful or you'll at least, maybe you'll find out the business isn't for you, but you at least won't just quit kind of in this section of phase two or phase three, right? This is the worst. People that are like, oh, wait, it's not just a get rich quick scheme. I'm out of here. We didn't even
Yep.
talk about that, Andy, but I guess there's a lot of people that quit during phase two, huh?
Yeah, and we tell everybody right off the bat, we want to shake off the tourists. We're not interested in working with those people.
Yeah. This is a great example. I like to bring up Marva because she's, she kind of sticks to herself. She hasn't done a podcast or anything like that. This is one of our done with you clients. Andy, you may relate to this a little bit, at least the emotion. I will too. The technical stuff, like building websites or learning new apps or stuff like that. You know, that's when I really have to fight the urge to just go eat ice cream, right? That stuff that pisses me off so much sometimes. It's so frustrating. Luckily, I know now, like, all right, dude, you need to chill out and regroup and not break your computer or anything. But
uh,
Marva was like that. Marva was really not, she's one of our done with you clients, not tech savvy, and just was really frustrated about like just logging into the apps or even using Discord and things like that. And at one point, I was going to stop working with Marva because she was just, you know, couldn't log into the Zoom meetings, like just little stuff like that. But I totally relate, right? So she was able to get through it. She quit. She went through it. She read the instructions that we sent to her. She was actually amazing on the meetings and talking with people. And she'd been in the industry, so she didn't go through the process that most people do. Most people probably quit during this phase, like with the marketing. But we were doing a lot of the work with her, setting up the meetings. She was amazing at that. That was the stuff that almost, killed Marva's career. Crazy. Andy, you can relate to that a little bit, right? I know you share my frustration with like the apps and technology and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in just focusing on what you're kind of good at, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, Marva almost did quit, and I gave her the option to because she was really frustrated about that stuff. But she did move forward through that. And now, last time we checked in, still trying to get her on the podcast, but who knows? Um, she was managing 5 properties. So think about that. Someone that was almost ready to quit over like Zoom and accessing the CRM and stuff like that was able to kind of regroup, get through it, learn new technology. And she's now managing 5 properties. So there are constant so many, stories and things like that we could tell, but I don't want to beat a dead horse, and we got to wrap it up. So, questions, comments. Eddie, I know you had you wanted to chime in. I cut you off.
Yeah. Then after that, I got a call, had to go meet with an inspector. I've since then now passed the inspection, so I'm good to go.
Congrats.
Uh, yeah, still, I think what next February, I think it's the next inspection because I got like three properties that are Section 8. Love it. It's cool. Yeah, so I think I had a question just about with what the lady was going through, like what type of housing is this? I was like, is this like a conversion, like, of a hotel? Used to be a hotel, now this, because it was the city, with what they're talking about, sprinklers, this, that, and the third. I'm like, she's trying to house like 50 to 100 people. Like, what's going on here? Had to try to get clarity because otherwise it sounds really crazy if it's not something extra ordinary.
It's
It
just a
really,
5-bedroom house.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that sounds
no
crazy.
conversion at all, because they said
Uh
I had to get scale drawings and I'm like, why? I'm not doing construction.
oh. Question: why'd you go with the city on reaching out to them?
that's a good
Because
question.
there's a law that if you have 4 people, more than 4 people that aren't related, that they can't live in the same house without an occupancy permit.
Oh,
And
okay. It's not like
you
discrimination, but
want to
whatever.
you want to tackle you want to tackle that, Andy?
A couple of things. My first comment is, and I know we've chatted before on these schools. Again, if you follow the rules, you're gonna lose. Like the city can't do that. Number one, it's discrimination. But number two, don't play by their rules. Like if you go and you house a family, do you have to fill out an application to do that?
So I've had some people say anytime that you put someone beside yourself in a house, you need an occupancy permit.
Yeah, but let me just ask you this. And again, sometimes I have to be tough because that's what you guys pay me to, you pay me to be honest. Um, how is the city even gonna, how many houses are in Pittsburgh?
Tons, tons. Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
how many? I mean, let's just, Brandon, why don't you chat GBT it? Show everybody how AI works.
It's like, how are they
Okay.
gonna know? Unless there's a problem, how are they gonna know? And if there's a
How
problem,
many
then you know.
houses are in Pittsburgh?
When I joined West Par and talked to them about this, their first comment was, "Oh, you told them?"
There are,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
correct.
yeah,
There's
yeah. There we go. This is
159,000 housing units in Pittsburgh. There's 159,000. Let's see, what are the chances of being struck by lightning in Pittsburgh? Okay, let's look. I really want to compare it. Uh, 1 in 1. Okay, so your odds in Pittsburgh are 1 in 15,300.
All right.
Okay, you
So in
have
other
you
words, they don't
you
have a
have better
microscope on
odds of
me.
being struck by lightning in Pittsburgh than you do, in my personal opinion, of them finding out that you're running a group home, right? There's 159,000 housing units in Pittsburgh.
All right.
Okay. So you don't need to tell them, you don't need to draw attention to yourself. Go, the saying, the most important saying in the world, mind your own business. Okay.
Okay.
Now remember, what did I just say? I didn't say mind your own business. I said mine, Mine.
Okay. I thought
Okay.
that's what you said, but I
What's
thought it was
what's a mine? What's a mine do?
goes underground.
Yes, what does it dig out? Gold, silver,
Oh,
copper.
silver.
It makes money. Mind your own business. Okay, but also mind your own business.
all
Put
right,
your
cool. I
head
just need that. I just
down
need,
and
yeah,
put your head down and just take care of business.
yeah,
It,
yeah.
it is It is time. Brandon says this all the time. I love how he says it. We have to stop pretending to play business. We have to stop playing business. It's time for you guys to go make money and help people. Some of us are here to help people, some of us are here to make money. For the most part, call it 50-50. I'm 50% here to help people, 50% here to make money. But guess what? You are helping absolutely nobody if you hem and haw and you pretend to play business, and you're hurting yourself as well because you're not making money. You're just spinning wheels. And again, I apologize for being so upfront, but that's the reality.
Oh,
I
man,
mean,
thank you for all this because I was wondering what the point of was. I was like, wait, she got to be doing something really big to want to even have prying eyes on things because otherwise we're going to keep this, because it's all more so about helping people and getting people into a property. And the more you invite, government bureaucracy, sometimes they're like, yo, if you didn't tell us anything, we wouldn't even care. But now it's like, fine, let's see here, those sort of things. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. So I
also,
was, mhm.
who's a bully gonna pick on? Someone that knows how to fight, or are they gonna pick
Correct.
on
Correct.
someone that's smaller than them and isn't gonna fight back? So, you know, if yeah, if you read Betsy, go through this stuff, read it, get familiar with the law and the like the cases and things like that. And who knows the rhyme or reason? Look, sometimes bullies are just going to be bullies. Like this story with Jeanette was crazy because uh you remember that story, right? Andy, the
Well,
interview
which
with
one? We've
Jeanette.
heard so many of them. Which one was Jeanette?
Jeanette was in Texas and was
Oh,
dealing
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah. Up in Dallas,
some
where she just wound up suing him.
yeah, some guy in the code department was just like he has to know these laws, but for some reason he just like had it out for her. So
Yeah.
sometimes bullies are just going to be bullies. So um, start with that letter. I know you already sent that. That's a good start. And kind of like to Eddie's point, don't go talking and interacting with bullies if you can avoid it, and usually you can. So
Okay. I think that's my career in medicine coming back to haunt me because you have a specific way you have to do everything, and maybe the world doesn't work that way.
it definitely doesn't. So you're dealing with the federal government that's like huge. They oversee like these local jurisdictions and they fight all the time. So we have a example of that. This is a letter that the DOJ and HUD sent to all local code violations because they do this stuff uh, on the large scale. This happens quite often. Like as far as in our little sphere of influence and our members, there's only a few cases. Um, Jeanette is the only one that we know of that actually made it to court. Okay. But the DOJ did send them a scathing legal letter. Like, look, if you keep doing this, you're gonna get in trouble. This section has some examples of when they do get in trouble. Uh, like Jeanette, that guy hopefully was fired, but the city had to pay Jeanette $30,000. So uh, and yeah, it's not always black and white. There's a gray area. Andy, I remember you showed me like you've dealt with this issue before and just legally told them, leave me alone. Um in legalese, right? But I remember you showed me the local code and within like a couple paragraphs they contradicted themselves. It was
Yeah.
it was about the occupants.
Hello.
Hmm.
So it's um yeah, it's not always black and white. But the more, obviously educate yourself so you have the tools in your tool belt. And you want to be able to learn how to fight. If a bully does come to you, you want to know a little bit of jujitsu, a little bit of boxing, and this stuff will give you that.
All
This is
right.
this is your jab. This is
Yeah.
bare minimum, you guys have a jab, and this is your response letter. So,
Yeah.
uh, I
I
Especially
think
think
once.
now that
Mhm.
sent that, I'm just going to proceed with business
there we go.
because I think it'll
Mhm.
just fall away, because
Mhm.
everything there falls on deaf ears anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's also, even if they come back on you, it's even more like, let's say you were housing people currently and they gave you trouble. It really is then discrimination. If you got, chances are you'll have someone who's either elderly or a person who's women, elderly, people who are a minority group. If you were housing minorities and they're doing fine, and they're like, what's going on here? They want me out of here. That would now definitely be discrimination. Now, sometimes they're like, so I'd almost, just go about my day and do business. And if someone ever was to, say something, then you gotta like act on it. But otherwise,
Put my head down.
There we go. And I think you're kind of to that point. You said you
class
had the
neighborhood,
first. Said you
like
had the
basically everything that's in the go course and everything. So I was just wondering, 'cause I was like, yeah, yeah. But it's more of a lesson for other people as well as yourself. Like right now, like you're saying, like just go on about your time, because it's probably, now that you sent it out, they're not going to bother you most likely, or have a leg to stand on, especially once you have people in the property, and you're running your business.
Okay.
Yeah, Betsy, that's what I've seen like in the real world when it really comes down to it. Usually they just back off.
Good.
Bully doesn't want to get jabbed in the face. So,
Yeah, really.
um, guys, if anyone else has any other questions, drop it in the chat. I'm sorry, it's Betsy or Betty? I keep
It's Betsy.
Betsy. All right, cool. Andy, I don't know if you've ever dealt with this. This is a good question. I've never heard this. So, when probation visited my house, they said I should not assign outside chores like grass cutting, uh, for a small yard. Is that true? Have you heard anything like that before, Andy?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, these guys are going to make up all sorts of stuff. It's just,
Yeah, I just imagine some bureaucrat like, hey, I think it's a bad idea if you assign chores. I've
I
never.
find that even amazing that someone's getting people to cut the yard. I'm paying for it.
Well, I was doing it and I did not know what poison sumac looked like, but I found out. And I had this raging case and I just couldn't go out and do it. So I assigned it to the guy when he moved in, which he wouldn't do that either. So he was the one I had to get rid of.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like we'd like to do like house rules, like clean up after yourself, take the trash out. Um, yeah, as far as like maintenance, or like I don't know,
Do you have someone
maybe for
clean the
grass cutting,
houses?
just hire like a landscaping crew.
I have now.
Um,
So,
but other than that, yeah, it just got to get these, just keep going, and hopefully these people leave you alone, Betsy.
all right.
Um, all right, Andy, we've gone over
yeah,
as usual,
which we always do. Hopefully, this was
but
beneficial to you guys.
I know, look, this had kind of got me pumped up. All right, yeah, Eddie, definitely getting some Google Fiber. But yeah, I would just wrap it up. Andy, you wanna wrap things up?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I say all the time. Get started. How many of you that are on here right now have got a group home that's up and going?
Eddie's got a couple.
Got a little
Okay.
thing going on.
Whoever doesn't have a group home, just come on, guys. Get started. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Do it for the community. Just get it going. You just got it. You got to get excited. Get going. Use that uninformed. Well, you guys are informed now, so you should have informed optimism. Use that informed optimism to get started.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of this. I love this concept. Just because I've gone through it so many, it's probably like it's got me and Andy fired up. So hopefully you guys can relate to this and we can save some people to get out of the valley of despair and way more people into phase 5, which is success and fulfillment. And this can be applied to not just marketing, but every aspect of business, not just this business, but really any business or any endeavor. So, guys, drop your comments. I know a lot of you are catching the replay. We'll keep this kind of open for discussion. Let us know your thoughts. Me and Andy would like to put it out on YouTube because, like I said, I think we could help a lot of people that are going through it. Um, yeah, anyways, for people who are not in the school group, join school. We have over 2,000 members in here helping everybody to get out of phase 3 into phase 5. Your network is your net worth. It always helps to have a mastermind. Two minds are better than one. And we have over 2,000 of them. Me and Andy do this once a month. That's included with the school membership. If you go to this section, we have like almost 2 years worth of content like this. So absolute gold in here. We've covered so many things. Me and Andy have learned a ton as well, right? So yeah, with that being said, guys, get in the school group if this makes it to YouTube and you're watching it there. Also, you've seen me reference the Gold Course quite a few times. This is an online digital library with how-to videos, guides, sample material for every step of the process. If you are watching this on YouTube, give us a like and a subscription. Yeah, Andy, thank you so much for joining. As usual, we went about, almost an hour over time, but I think the people are going to get a ton of value for it. So
Hopefully that was beneficial, guys.
yeah, thank you for your time, brother. Everybody who participated, Eddie, Mary, Betsy, awesome questions. Betsy, let's get an update. Hopefully next month we have a couple more people in your property and the bullies off your back. Yeah, thank you guys. And you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye.